I've always believed that doing only 2 sets per exercise would lead to undertraining, that I'd lose muscle and strength from this lack of volume. I was completely wrong. Today, I'll show you how less can actually be more and how fewer sets can lead to better results, faster recovery, and long-term progress. I don't train hard enough when I do 3 sets on everything in my program. That's the honest truth. This extra volume compensates for a lack of intensity, and it's a way that we can wiggle ourselves away from what's really going to make a difference in our workouts. The problem I face every time with 3 sets is really annoying. I either pace myself on those first 2 sets and only really start trying on that 3rd set, or I'll go all out on those first 2 sets and I'm cooked on that final set with poor performance. Junk volume is tempting with 3 sets. This means your training makes you tired and it kills recovery, but it doesn't actually contribute to progressive overload. When you limit things to 2 sets, it's way easier to lock in effort-wise. More importantly, the effort relative to failure is consistently better. Like a seesaw, if you have low volume, 2 sets, it's naturally going to tilt the other way with high intensity, each set with less reps in reserve, or going to failure like a boss. Most lifters don't train hard enough. It's arguably the #1 reason people are small and weak once they've got their technique basics dialed. My job as a content creator is to get you the best gains. If I could only transmute through the camera how to push your sets with a high level of effort, the world would be a better place. At least, you'd be girthier and heaving heavier loads. The best way I've found to push hard is to do less. The effort comes as a byproduct because you're no longer doing all these half-assed sets. Here are some of the practical reasons why 2 sets are so effective. 2 sets is a cheat code when life gets busy and you just can't recover. For me, traveling can be a really stressful time. You've got the flight, different food, changing time zones, and your sleep gets out of whack. Especially when flying from Australia, where it's so far away from everywhere. In the past, old Daniel would try and force my usual routine while on the road in this new environment. It's just not realistic to expect that you're going to have the same performance when traveling. But my ego, it'd always struggle with this to my own detriment. Bad performance, and worst of all, I'd feel disappointed in myself every single time. After swallowing this bitter pill of self-reflection, it gave me the kick in the ass that I needed to drop down to 2 sets, and it's been eye-opening to say the least. Now I can get in there and have an awesome session and be done and dusted in an hour. Finishing workouts quicker without sacrificing results is something that we all want. I've noticed that I can usually shave off around 20 to 30 minutes if I only do 2 sets compared to 3. And best of all, my performance is consistent because I can mentally and physically give more. But really, it's just fun. I'm not dreading these marathon workouts that I would have to do previously to feel satisfied with myself. Instead, I can give each rep my full focus, and I'm highly motivated now to beat my previous numbers because it's actually realistic now. Being able to fit more exercises into a workout is another big benefit. You can realistically do 6 exercises times 2 sets, whereas with the same volume, you can only do 4 exercises for 3 sets. With more variety, you're going to hit your muscles from a variety of different angles, different resistance profiles, hitting the muscles in their shortened and contracted positions. This gives you greater freedom to do calisthenics, free weights, machines, all in one workout. Now fellas, if you want to train the same way that I do, and why wouldn't you? I'm going to help you get jacked out of your mind. I've laid out all of my programs at fitnessfaqs.com. I'll see you in the community. Now, this is important and a word of warning for everyone watching. Once you get stronger and you're lifting heavier absolute loads, each set that you do is much more taxing than a newbie in the gym. A big boy doing pull-ups or dips with a few plates hanging between his thighs is going to feel more taxed after a session compared to beginner Billy squeezing out some bodyweight reps. Bless his soul. Keep grinding, son. What worked at the start of your journey, 3 sets for everything, won't continue working forever. There becomes a point after a few years of consistent training where you can really tire yourself out from each set that you do. You're better able to recruit those high threshold motor units, aka your nervous system can make more use of your body's total muscle mass. You can't lift massive weights and expect to do massive volume. It just doesn't work that way in the real world. This is why so many of us who have been in the game for a while are now praising the benefits of 2 sets. Other content creators, coaches, people you see in the industry. I wish I understood this basic fact earlier in my journey. I hope it's a teachable lesson that you can leave this video with and avoid wasting time and stressing yourself out unnecessarily. The biggest battle in training is actually against your own mind. I know I'm a creature of habit. I've done 3 sets or more on everything since the day I started training many moons ago. This 2-set experiment that I did just as a test while traveling has been so effective that I've just kept going with it. Through this, I've learned what it actually means to train hard, what training to failure really looks like, and I just don't get that when following a higher volume approach. It honestly sounds too good to be true. Doing less while still making muscle and strength progress, plus bouncing back sooner with better recovery for the next workout. Sounds like a good way to sell a program. But still, it's not easy. Many people don't have what it takes to actually train this hard. But you're different. You're watching fitness FAQs. You're an outlier in the fitness space, someone who knows the science, but actually does the damn thing. For those of you still unsure about 2 sets, here's how I got past the belief that you must do 3 sets. Get out of your head and into the logbook. Is your strength maintaining or improving? Is your physique staying on point or improving? If the answer is yes, which I've found to be the case after doing 2 sets for many months, the proof is in the pudding. Just don't overeat the pudding. The holidays are over. My biggest pet peeve in fitness is the all or nothing mentality. People either train with insane intensity, crazy high volume every single day, which is unsustainable, or they completely fall off and they don't even train a minimum of 3 days per week. We're wired to strive as humans, so we either swing between extremes and we forget about this middle ground. If your goal is to maintain your physique, which I think is massively underrated, 2 sets is your best friend. It takes far less volume to keep what you've built than it does to build it in the first place. If you want to stay fit and healthy for life, sprinkling in 2 sets at times hits that minimum effective dose, and it's going to keep you in the game. Burnout won't. Abundance can be disorientating unless one hones one's aim. Should I do more sets? Should I add more reps? Should I lift more weight? This is a dilemma all of us can relate to. Having too many choices can lead to confusion and a lack of direction unless you focus and define your goals. When you commit to the 2-set method, there's less overwhelm. You have a clear priority because you can either increase reps or increase weight. I love constraining the variables because then you don't have that little temptation to do more sets, and you'll actually do progressive overload. My favorite approach is using double progression to get the job done. You pick a rep range, lift a weight until you reach the top of that range, then increase the load and repeat the process for life. Don't get into that bad habit of adding sets for set's sake. I realized I'd catch myself doing just that when I was being a little bit of a wuss, man. I just didn't want to push hard and I thought, oh yeah, I'll just do 4 sets because, volume bro. When in reality, less done with a high effort isn't what you want, but it's what your body needs. With 2 sets, it's the closest thing to a sweet spot with stimulus to fatigue. We know there's a diminishing return on the number of hard sets in a workout where more isn't always better. Let's say if you're doing 2 sets, it gives you 80% of the gains. 3 sets may give you 90%, 4 sets, 95%. But the fatigue doubles or triples the more sets that you perform. Injury risk goes up and recovery time is exponentially longer. These numbers are just guesstimates to suggest that muscle growth increases gradually while fatigue, joint stress, and recovery demands increase disproportionately with more sets. Now, 2 sets isn't perfect and it does come with some downsides. If you're not training close to 100%, it's just not going to work. I'd say the average person in the gym is more like 5+ reps in reserve. There's no noticeable slowing down of the tempo. If this person does 2 sets, it's a bad idea. Low volume plus low intensity, equals undertraining. I'm going to keep it honest with you. Before each set, you're going to get really nervous because you know how hard it's going to be and it takes your full effort. This greater mental challenge, it's going to take some time getting used to compared when you're doing 3 sets, because with this traditional way of training, you spread out that effort more so. 2 sets, it's not ideal for strength specialization. If you want to get strong AF on how heavy you can lift, you're better off doing more volume in a workout and throughout the week. After all, strength is a skill, specificity and all that stuff, where more total reps makes you master the movement faster. And of course, training shy of failure is ideal for strength. You're going to be doing more exercises, which means more warm-up before the working sets. This can be a real pain in the ass if you're doing lots of technical exercises, think free weights or calisthenics. All right, TLDR, I want to give you a 2-set workout structure that can be followed on most workout splits with success. Doing 6 total exercises with 2 sets each. You can adjust the number of compound or isolations based on your goals and muscle group priority. With the compound exercises, aim to leave a rep in reserve or hit failure if it's safe to do so. With isolations, just guarantee you're hitting the muscle to the max. Go to failure or even do a few partials beyond failure at the end. Single joint exercise, they're not going to cook your recovery. Just keep going until the muscle gives up. If you want bigger arms and shoulders, this intensity method hasn't let me down. I find 12 total sets to be the sweet spot for both upper and lower body workouts these days. As long as if you're hitting each muscle group twice per week with around 48 hours recovery between sessions, you rinse and repeat that with progressive overload, it's game over in a good way. Fellas, we have to chase progress, not just doing more work for the sake of it. Increase weight on the bar or reps. If that's your sole focus, I'm certain your physique will transform. If I can avoid just one person watching from that pesky volume trap, I can sleep peacefully tonight. My gains, they're important to me, and so are yours. Don't let me down. The next time you have the thought during a workout, I'll just do some more sets instead. Or when you're designing a workout routine thinking that you need 3 sets per exercise and 20 total sets a workout, please catch yourself wanting to hide away from the effort. For me, this comes back to longevity. Always doing high volume in the hopes of being optimal isn't worth the chronic aches or inconsistent progress. The best program isn't one that looks impressive on paper. It's the one that you can show up and give 100%. Recover from, and repeat for years. Don't be afraid to try 2 sets for some or all of your exercises. You'll learn what training hard actually means.